Everyone thought Tom Cruise would save the theaters again with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, but in some ways, Tom Cruise did save the movie theaters again. Let's discuss. Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and let's talk about Barbenheimer. Now, this is something that nobody could have predicted. I mean, the internet turned Barbenheimer into a meme when, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but Barbenheimer, for those of you who are not aware, is this event that happened this weekend where two radically different movies opened on the same day across one another. Christopher Nolan's 3-hour R-rated, dialogue-heavy drama about the father of the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer, and Greta Gerwig's interpretation of the Barbie doll Barbie. And don't worry, we're not going to do the commercial debate again. I've said my piece there, but a follow-up video may be coming for some other things I might have missed. But anyway, so these two movies, both wildly different, both targeting very different audiences, opened on the same day, and something pretty incredible happened. It became an event where people said, I'm going out to see Barbenheimer, which means they were going to do a double feature of Oppenheimer and Barbie. Never mind that those two movies are completely different, and also the fact that combined, it's more than 5 hours. Like, I wasn't going to do Barbenheimer. I was going to see both, and I have seen both, but I wasn't going to do it all in one day. I appreciate everyone who did it. And I went to see Oppenheimer for a second time at the Universal AMC City Walk. I really wish I was taking pictures. There were so many ladies in pink. There were even guys walking around with Oppenheimer suits and hats. Like, it was a thing for two movies. I mean, Barbie's been around for a while, but to see people actually dressing up like Oppenheimer, it's like, this isn't even a franchise. It's a standalone movie, and there's not going to be a sequel. So this was just something that was truly amazing. But it did get my in-laws, who went with us and didn't really understand what was going on. What is this? I said, oh, it's Barbenheimer, and I kind of tried to explain it. But how did Barbenheimer really get started? Well, believe it or not, we have most likely Tom Cruise to thank for it. Now, Tom Cruise was releasing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 this year. He released it a couple weeks ago. And a story popped up that he was furious when he found out that his movie would only be playing in IMAX and premium formats for about a week because Oppenheimer sewed up all the IMAXs and the vast majority of the premium large format screens months in advance. Cruise was actually on the phone with all these distributors saying, hey, my movie is going to make more money than Oppenheimer will. Let me have some of those screens. I want some of those IMAX screens. Mission Impossible deserves to be seen on IMAX. For the record, it absolutely does. But the theaters pretty much said no, and these conversations leaked. And Tom Cruise was kind of starting to look like a little bit of a bad guy. Like, his ego was out of control. Like, hey, my movie is the one you need to see. Don't see anyone else's movie. You see my movie. And for reasons, like, I'm not sure if this was like a personal thing for him or if someone on his publicity team told him what bad optics this was. Tom Cruise shared this Instagram post where he was basically saying, hey, movie going need not be a cutthroat competition. Why don't you just see everything? And he took pictures of himself buying tickets to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Oppenheimer, and Barbie. Now, Indiana Jones had already opened at that point. It wasn't really doing very well, so in some ways it's not exactly competition to say go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It was already on its way out. But he was encouraging people to get tickets for Oppenheimer and Barbie. This started the jokes like, well, is he going to see both in one day? And that's when people started talking about Barbenheimer. Like, well, what if you could see both movies in one day? Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie decided to do something similar. They showed themselves buying tickets to multiple movies, But here's the thing, the one that stood out the most was of them buying tickets to Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer is, of course, Barbie's main competition that day. That's the other movie you could see if you're not seeing Barbie. And that is the image that really got the whole wave going, where people were like, oh my gosh, why don't we see both? Shortly afterwards, Cillian Murphy was asked about Barbie, and he said he was 100% going to see it. So it seemed like the cast and most of the crew had kind of gotten to this whole thing where it's like, if you talk to someone who was making Barbie, they said, oh yeah, I'm totally seeing Oppenheimer on that day. And you talk to people who made Oppenheimer, they said, I am totally seeing Barbie that day. It should be noted that missing from this is Christopher Nolan, who reportedly was not super happy that Barbie was opening on the same day of his film. His movies tend to open number one, and Barbie was clearly going to, stomp those dreams. But at the same time, he did say that, this is a healthy market. We want crowded movie theaters, and we want people to have options, because we don't want one movie to, monopolize the screens. I'm sure he feels a little bit differently if it's his movie, but needless to say, he gave a very diplomatic answer. And what resulted from that was Barbie opening at $162 million and Oppenheimer opening at $82 million. Very, very amazing. Barbie was projected to make somewhere between $90 to $110 million, and Oppenheimer was pretty solidly going to be $40 to $50 million. Like, very, very good amounts of money, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't going to be like an explosion of creativity. And now, holy cow, completely exceeded expectations. I wonder if Christopher Nolan should maybe be sending Tom Cruise and Greta Gerwig flowers, like, hey, congratulations and thanks for the advice. And I don't know if this is ever going to happen again. I would like to see it happen again. It seems very unlikely, because what really started this thing was, like, for months and months, with Oppenheimer and Barbie going back to back, people are going like, well, what's going to beat who? Who's going to beat who? And what are you going to see? And some people were team Nolan, some people were team Barbie. I was neutral. It's like, look, if the movies are good, that's great. I'd rather see the good movie, and if they're both good, I recommend seeing them both. But because Tom Cruise wanted to have a little bit of good publicity, he kind of got this whole thing started where he showed himself buying tickets for other movies. Then Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie bought tickets. Cillian Murphy said he was going to buy Barbie. It became like a little friendly, like, oh yeah, we respect the other person's movie. And the internet then really caught on. It's like, oh, that actually sounds fun. Why don't we see both movies on the same day? And what I'm really curious about is it going to follow through with the second weekend? Because there's some people who probably didn't actually get to go to Barbenheimer, and they might have felt like they missed something. So maybe the second weekend will be a similar, on a lower scale, of course, but maybe people will be doing double features again. You never know. Now, if you are going to do Barbenheimer, my personal suggestion is this. See Oppenheimer first, have dinner, marinate on the heavy themes of the movie, and then after you've gotten some food in you and it's time to relax, see Barbie. It's a much more lighthearted film. That's my personal recommended viewing thing. But it's really interesting to think that Tom Cruise in some way has saved cinemas twice. Obviously, he did very good with Top Gun Maverick last year, showing that people will come back out to the theaters for a theatrical experience. And then, even though he was probably just trying to make himself look good, he was the one who technically got this whole buying tickets for other movies started, where he bought tickets to the competition and showed it on Instagram. And maybe more filmmakers should do that. They should actually publicly show support by buying tickets to their competition. And even Quentin Tarantino got into the act by seeing Oppenheimer in one theater, and then after it was done, he walked across the street to the next theater and bought a ticket for Barbie. So that was very interesting. He probably did that because the theater he went to probably was showing Oppenheimer in 70mm film, and he went to another theater to see Barbie, which is being shown in digital format. Unfortunately, the only movie that didn't really seem to benefit from this is Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, which, despite being in those initial photos, people were still like, yeah, we're okay. We don't really want to see Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. So, sorry, Harrison Ford. I guess it just didn't work out for you. But with that all said, what did you think of Barbenheimer? Did you see both movies at the same time? What did you think of those movies? I will have reviews for both movies this week. Oppenheimer's review will be coming tomorrow, and Barbie's will be coming the day after. And then some other videos I filmed will be going up, so you're going to be seeing some fluctuating facial hair. But there you go. So love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.